Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. This is the August 23rd, 2012 meeting of the East Fishkill Town Board. Would you please rise and join me in a Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing after the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I attended the rec meeting the other night here, and unfortunately I found out that Emily Harris had passed away. Emily had been an employee of the town of East Fishkill. I believe she played softball. Ethel, she must have played softball for years and years and years. She sat on the rec board, and Emily did a great job. And Emily was not one to be shy about letting you know how she felt. And I just want to have a moment of silence for her passing, if you would. Thank you very much. All right, I just have one announcement for this evening. I said on Town of East Fishkill, we have a permanent seat on the Poughkeepsie-Dutchess County Traffic Council, and we meet monthly up in Poughkeepsie to go over different issues. There's representatives from all the different DOT, Dutchess County Public Works, MTA, all sit on this board. And we were talking the other day before the meeting, and I mentioned to the gentleman from the DOT, I know that there's going to be a National Guard facility. It's going to be built right across the town line in Beekman, right next to Greenhaven Prison. Large facility, I believe it's like 30 acres, the building, and the facility is going to encompass about 9 acres. And I just asked the gentleman from DOT, what kind of a review DOT had given them, because they will, most of the equipment and traffic will be moving along the Route 52, 216 corridor. And he'd heard of it, but he directed me to another gentleman in DOT to discuss it. The other fellow had been the projects person. So I called him several times, and he returned my call one day, and we were talking. He goes, "Oh yeah." He says, "We know all about it. We've never seen a plan. This is the federal government. They're going to come in and build this." And I said, "Do you have any concerns about our state highways there and the traffic they're going to incur?" And he says, "Yes, we do, but being the federal government, nobody has any authority over them." And I said, the projected start date is March 13th. March of 2013. And he said, "Yes, we're aware of that, but they haven't reached out to us, and we really haven't gotten any information from them." So it'd be very interesting to see what happens with the National Guard repair facility that they build next to Greenhaven Prison, and they're going to be starting next year. DOT said they would like to stay involved, if I could use the word, as far as monitoring the progress, but as he said, literally the feds are going to do what they're going to do. So we'll see what happens. I'd hate to have a convoy come up on a flea market day when Trump Golf Course is having a big outing or something like that. I think it'd be very interesting. So, but the feds are the feds. So with that, and just by the way, we have reached out to Senator Saland, who sent a letter on our behalf to the National Guard. We also reached out to Congresswoman Nan Hayworth, who also sent out a letter on our behalf in regards to the traffic concerns. So we still haven't received any response, but we will keep trying. So we'll see what happens. With that, excuse me, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Councilperson Walker.
Present.
Councilperson Cassidy.
Present.
Councilperson Danke.
Present.
Councilperson D'Alessandro.
Present.
Supervisor Hickman.
Present. Thank you, Clerk Hooray. Next on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the July 26, 2012 meeting. Clerk Hooray, have you had any additions, corrections, or amendments to them?
No, I haven't.
Have there being none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes for July 26, 2012?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is public comments on agenda items only. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak on any items on the agenda? Would you step to the microphone, sir?
I will. Should I sign in or? Okay, my name is Bob Wilbarg, and I'm speaking for myself, not anyone else, not any part of the town, nothing, just me. It regards item 10 that's on the agenda for tonight, which is the affordable housing.
Yeah.
And the bill, as I understand it, right now has 80 to 120% of median income as the definition for affordable housing. Dutchess County Planning in Millbrook ran 2 courses where they discussed affordable housing. And as far as they're concerned, 80% and up is called market housing.
Okay.
The original proposal from Mr. Regan, or Reagan, I'm never sure how to pronounce
Right.
the name, talked about 60%, which is what's been done in Westchester, it's been done in Fishkill, and several other places. And I think, again, this is a personal opinion, we have to, if we're going to have affordable workforce housing, we have to have it for the people who are making the salaries where they need affordable and workforce housing, and seniors who aren't doing that well in their later years. And I would like to see the law changed, as proposed, from the 80% to 60%. I will take
Okay.
no more of your time, I thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the comments. We appreciate that. All right, anybody else in the audience would like to speak on agenda items only? Okay, there being none. Clerk Harade, do we have anything under receipt and file?
No, I do not.
No, we don't. Okay. All right, the next item on the agenda is a public hearing. This is a public hearing to consider amending the town's escrow system for paying professionals to review pending applications. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The public hearing is now open. Tom, would you give us a little summary of the law? I think we've all had it and reviewed it.
Basically, what this does is modernizes our current law that we have, and it makes 3 changes to it. Number 1, it allows the escrow amounts to be determined by the town board by resolution on an annual basis, as opposed to having to amend the law each time you want to make a change.
Yep.
Secondly, it allows for escrows to be set up for non-planning and zoning board. There are many issues that come before the town where there's a particular review that has to be conducted that the applicant is agreeable to pay for, but we didn't have a system to set up the escrow. That does that. And thirdly, it adds the right for the town board to set a fee schedule that if any in-house professionals, such as the town engineer, reviews things, that their time, the engineer's time spent in reviewing an application would be charged to the escrow account as opposed to the general fund. And the law would allow the town board to set that rate based not only on the hourly wage, but considering benefits and administrative costs. It would actually turn out to be cheaper for the applicant to use the in-house staff because their rates are less than the outside consultant's rate.
Yeah.
But it gives all that flexibility.
Yeah, no, that's good. And one thing I'd like to point out that as far as the applicants, the town has fiduciary responsibility in the handling of their money to make sure their money is not wasted. And also, I'd have to agree with you that I think that having it done more by in-house staff, I think you're going to get a much better review, and I think it's going to be a very good thing for the applicant and I think for the town also. So any questions on the board? Any discussion, any questions?
Well, one question about the fee schedule. Will we implement that every year, or?
Yes, it would probably be consistent with your
Review
budget
of the other-
process when you're setting the fees, because that's when your outside consultants usually advise you as to what their rates are going to be for the following year. So that would be, there's none attached to this
Okay,
because you
yeah.
can't set it until the law's in effect.
Very good.
And the law probably won't be in effect until, say, October 1st. So in September, there'll be a proposed escrow resolution.
Thank you.
And a lot of times we'll review all of our fees. I think we're about due to review the fees for the building and zoning anyway.
Yeah, right.
So that'd be something we should really establish at the reorganization meeting in January. Anybody in the audience like to speak on this proposal? All right, I think it's a very good. I think it's a very good idea. I think it's better for the applicant and it's very good for the town. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We have a negative declaration. Do I have a motion to adopt the neg deck?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We've adopted the neg deck. Do I have a motion to enact a local law to consider to amend the town's escrow system for paying professionals to review pending applications?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. We've enacted a new local law amending the town's escrow system for paying professionals to review pending applications, and I think that will be a very helpful thing. And Tom, we'll be working then on the fee schedule?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, resolutions. The first resolution is to set a public hearing on revisions to definitions. We're looking to set this public hearing for October 25th, 2012. Throughout the last few years, we've been having some issues in the zoning and in the planning laws in regards to definitions, obviously. So I believe the zoning board and the planning board sat down. I believe that our planner looked at this also, Tom?
Yes.
And of course, they ran it by the attorney.
Right, this has there were conflicting definitions
Yeah.
of buffers.
Yeah.
If you had a buffer along 84, it was defined differently than if you had a buffer along the Taconic, and also other buffers that might be required in different zoning. So the two boards got together, and they're actually recommending a uniform definition for buffer. They also are asking you to define landscape buffers, because that's used differently. And they're also going through some definitions as to structures, et cetera. So,
So everybody has, there's about 5 pages of recommendations in here, large-scale development standards, bulk regulations, and the like. I did want to add, one thing I did want to ask, and Tom, I'd ask your opinion on this. You know, we do have another issue, and it really has nothing to do with the definitions, about processing material on site. That was one of these laws that had come up. Would that be appropriate to look at this, or should we just look at some zoning ordinances later on down the road?
I think we were considering changing that section separately.
Okay,
So
okay.
we're working with
Because I
the,
think we have like 3 or 4 of those same type of regulations we
Right.
need to address.
And that's with respect, right now, no processing is allowed.
Yeah.
But there's some thought that on an approved subdivision
Yeah.
or site plan, that they should be allowed to process on site just the material
Yeah.
generated from
Yeah.
that site.
We have very strict regulations and oversight.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, okay, we'll take a look at that a little further down the road. Any questions for the attorney?
Tom, when it says buffers, like you said, we're going to make it universal, the definition, but not the size of the buffer. I assume.
Correct, yeah. But like, for instance, in parking, it says that there'll be a buffer, but they're asking you to define it as a landscaped buffer. So things like that, and these are things that have presented problems for the planning board for many years, so there's hopefully.
Yeah, but when they're talking like a buffer along the Taconic or 84, it's a bigger buffer than it is.
It's a bigger buffer, and in the
And that's still
buffer,
gonna
there
stay the
shouldn't
same.
be anything done in that buffer.
Correct.
Even landscaping should be left natural.
Right, because of the
Okay.
highway. And if anybody has any questions or anybody has any comments on these definitions, please jot them down or stop and see the town attorney. You know, we can discuss any changes that you feel need to be made. All right, with that, do I have a motion to set the public hearing on definitions for October 25th?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Second resolution is to approve assessors conference attendance for our assessor from September 23rd to October 3rd. Our assessor is required to have so many credits per year to keep up her assessor's license. This is going to be, I believe, I'd asked Kathy how much it's going to be. It will be under $1,000. It's a three-day conference, and a third of it, we will bill Beacon for their third of it because we do share her with the city of Beacon. So, you know, that'd be only appropriate. So,
It's just, you said the 23rd, and it's actually the 30th.
September 30th.
she says September 30th. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, September 30th to October 3rd.
Say, I want to go to that meeting.
Sorry.
We're signing up.
Yeah. So, and she also gave me a copy of the schedule, and she thinks it's going to be a very good educational component, so. All right, do I have a motion to approve the assessors conference?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Thank you. Number 3 on the agenda is authorize fireworks for Trump Hudson Valley Golf Course that were unfortunately rained out. And I believe the fireworks display is going to be scheduled for October 2nd, 2012 at 8 p.m. Said authorization is subject to the filing of the appropriate insurance certificate and meeting all requirements of the penal law. And this due to a storm that occurred on July 23rd, this fireworks was canceled. So, do I have a motion to authorize Trump fireworks for October 2nd?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Thank you. Number 4 is to authorize a resolution for emergency access gates maintenance as per DOT request. You know, it's so ironic. Quite a few years ago, I know that the fire commissioners, because we do have these Wickby substations down Townsend Road, and you know, you throw a rock and you get to Route 84. But if there's ever an incident on Parkway or down on 84, you have to go all the way around. It's quite a long route to get there. So I remember going there some years ago. I think Senator Chuck Schumer was there, Senator Sland was there. Several dignitaries and all met out at the Wickby substation on Townsend Road, and looked at it, and they all agreed, yes, it's a great thing, needs to be done, we'll move this right along. And that was a few years ago. But government being what it is, it did move along, and they finally approved it. Of course, not on the spot where it was requested. DOT looked at it, and I believe that they thought that would be too much to come out onto Route 84 right there without an acceleration and deceleration lane. So they did set up another access that will shorten it if there's ever an emergency out on Route 84 for our first responders. Of course, think that was all good, well and good. They sent us a resolution requesting that the town would maintain the electronic gate and fence. So something we never saw coming, but doesn't surprise me. Anyway, speaking with our friends at the fire commissioners, who have always been very, very good about what they do for the town of East Fishkill and the services they provide, they consented to work along with us to maintain this gate and the fence and anything needs to be done. So DOT did send us this resolution, and I believe there's a date on it that they need to have it back.
They're going out to bid.
Yeah, this department will need 3 sealed original copies of the resolution prior to October 2012. So I put it on the agenda tonight. So I don't think it'll be too much to do the maintenance on this gate and the fence, especially with the help from the fire companies. So do I have a motion to authorize a resolution to maintain the emergency access gates as per DOT request?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. How come I'm never surprised when the feds come down and want to spend our money? Number 5 is to set a public hearing for September 27th, 2010, to consider a local law with respect to property maintenance. This is something that has been, actually has been an issue for the last few years, gotten worse and worse with the economy. We saw the city of Poughkeepsie adopted a law, and I know the town of Wappingers, I think, is adopting a law next month because so many more properties are turning up, delinquent, overgrown, poor maintenance and things. And I know, Tom, we're going to put together a law of our own that will address the issue. How would we, let me just ask you that, because we discussed this previously, if a property owner isn't maintaining the property, or if they leave, would that be assessed against the taxes? Then we would have a contractor go in.
This particular law would do that, because right now, if a house is in foreclosure and it's empty, the bank is responsible for cleaning it and maintaining it and paying the cost of it, and if they don't do it under state law, the town can do it and bill it back into the taxes. But then there are situations where the house is in foreclosure, but there's a occupant, and the house, the lawn and everything's in disarray, and after notice, this law would allow the town to clean it and back charge it against the taxes.
Okay, and that would be the
It
mechanism.
fills the gap that's been created by the other law.
Okay, very good. Do I have a motion to set the public hearing to consider the local law with respect to property maintenance for September 27th?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 6, we have 2 approved tax certiorarities for Wickeby Plaza and Centro MP Holdings, which I believe would be the Unity Plaza. On an annual basis, taxpayers throughout the town challenge their assessments. With our assessor, they do it rarely, but some of these big businesses like to do it every year. These proceedings are conducted in the Supreme Court of the State of New York, and Wikipedia Plaza and Central Holdings challenged the assessment roll for 2011, 12, and I think Central actually also for 2010. We negotiated with these, the town attorney, the town assessor, and the town's appraisal consultant, and they've reached agreements on both of these. And I know the assessments are going to be lowered on these. Tom, is there going to be a payback, which is, we typically try to avoid a payback issue. We try to reassess it going forward. Is there-
We do. The town share on Wikipedia Plaza is $1,275.
Okay,
And on Unity Plaza, it comes about $3,750.
37, so about $5,000.
Because Unity still has the business exemption in effect,
Mm-hmm.
that their taxes have gradually increased each year for 10 years.
Yeah.
But they still have 3 years of that left before they
Okay.
get the full assessment.
Okay, all righty. So the payout would be $5,000 for these two plazas that have challenged their assessments. And then their assessments are agreed to starting,
Right, then they're locked in at these numbers for 3 years. They can't challenge them again
okay,
for 3 years.
okay. Very good. Any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the tax certiorari's for Wikipedia Plaza and Central MP Holdings? Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. We'll let the assessor know tomorrow. Number 7 is in regards to Francis Drive bids. Scott, appears we received bids for this Francis Drive drainage project, and over budget, I guess.
Yes, we revised the design to lessen the depth of the drainage, hoping that would result in a lower bid price, but we didn't get the result we were hoping for. So we're going to, actually, we've already kind of started looking at other alternate options.
Okay.
The ground condition is pretty poor over there. Requires trenching box in order.
Deep trenching.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're trying to go with a shallow system, maybe more infiltration as opposed to conveyance.
Okay.
So it probably won't go out till the spring, and maybe if we can get shallow enough, we can actually do it in-house. So we're going to
Okay.
just reevaluate that.
Oh, good. So we haven't given up.
Have not given up.
Good,
We will
good.
get the project done.
Okay, good, I appreciate that. And unfortunately, though, I mean, I know we put it out before, the prices came out much higher, and then we did some alterations, and again, they seem to be way over budget,
Right,
so.
yeah. What we did is we flattened the pipe, we increased the size of it, and the savings in labor didn't even really compensate for the additional cost of materials, so.
Wow,
So we're going to rethink the whole design.
okay, all right. Very good, very good. Do I have a motion to reject the bids for the Francis Drive drainage project?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried, and we will work on this further. Number 8 is to authorize an agreement to allow acceptance of credit cards for the payment of towns, fees, taxes, and all kinds of things. Actually, the gentleman come before us, I think it was the July meeting, gave us a presentation on their product, if you will, and seems to be very good. We were told that several other towns have recently adopted this use of the credit cards. Mark, I know you had some concerns about it. Were you able to get the information that you requested from the gentleman?
Did you receive any response, Tom, from your latest? No. There is some concern about whether or not there's a second contract that would be required. He has submitted a contract, the merchant services portion of it.
Okay.
And we've reviewed that, and all's in order, but would there be a second contract for the interface portion? And I don't believe there is one, and that's the issue, which is good for us.
Is there an issue? I mean, would we go ahead with this then, being a general contract with the interface portion, and go ahead with the credit card portion?
I mean, I take no contract to be a good thing. We're not committed to any long-term,
Okay. Tom,
no expenses.
no contract, good thing?
Well, as to the time period, and I think we have disclosure about the other costs, so
Yeah.
we'll be okay with that.
Okay, and we have 60 days if we're not satisfied with
Correct.
the,
To bow out of the
yeah, to
power.
bow out, as they say, bow wow. Okay. I mean, I think to me, it looks like a good, sensible thing to do for the townspeople as far as convenience, ease of paying bills, signing up for different programs, paying your taxes. I think it has a lot of merit. I just want to make sure that everybody's okay with it. Any thoughts?
I'm okay.
You okay with it, Peter?
If Mark's okay, I'm okay.
Well, you should give me that kind of deference.
We did look at other rates, and you can get better rates, but not with the cost of developing this kind of interface where
Yeah.
people will be able to view their tax bills and their utility bills. It's just, that's the advantage of it.
Okay, okay. Ethel, what do you think? You okay with it?
Yeah, it
I
sounds
think it looked like a good system. Bill? Okay. All right, with that, do I have a motion to authorize the agreement to allow the acceptance of a credit card for the payment of several things? I need a motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Boy, this feels like an auction here. I'll have to watch Storage Wars more often. Okay, who would be Barry? Bill, you'd be Barry.
Scott.
Only kidding. Okay, I just didn't know if anybody watched Storage Wars. Next, number 9 is to approve the bond resolution concerning a wildflower extension to the Hopewell Hamlet Sewer District. This is something we've been working on for quite a while. Senator Slane's office really pulled this one through. I will give them credit for getting this squared away 2 months ago up in the State Comptroller's office. And tonight we have before us a resolution to authorize the issuance of $589,798 bonds for the town of East Fishkill to pay the cost of the establishment of Wildflower Extension. Everybody has a copy of the bond resolution. Tom, is there anything to be explained with this? We would pass this resolution for this
Well, just
bonding?
for everybody at home to know that this is paid for only by the residents of that district.
Good point.
And last month, you created the district, and this is the final step so that construction can start to connect them into the sewer system.
That would be a wonderful thing. And you're absolutely right, I forgot to point out that this is only paid by the people in the district, so. Okay. Scott, we're good with this?
We are good.
And if we pass the bond resolution, hopefully we'll be able to,
We're inching closer with Board of Health. We're hopeful in a couple of weeks we'll have our final sign-off from Board of Health, and then we can go ahead and proceed.
good, good.
Once you start, how long is this project?
It was anticipated about 4 months, so it'll be tight to get it done this season, but I hear good things about the contractor, so hopefully.
Good. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the bond resolution concerning the wildflower extension to the Hopewell Hamlet Sewer District?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. This is a very good project for the people in Wildflower and for the Hopewell Hamlet Sewer District. I think it's going to be a great match. Number 9 is to approve the bond, oh, sorry, did that one. Number 10 is to adopt a local law amending the zoning ordinance to provide workforce housing. Tom, would you like to give us a little summary on this? I know we had a public hearing on this back in March, was it? Wow. Can you give us a little, just a brief summary?
If you will recall, there was a proposal to establish a workforce housing project within the town. That project started out being proposed at 92 units. It's now down to 62 units. But in
68.
order, I'm sorry.
68.
68, I'm sorry. And in order for anything to happen, the first step is the zoning ordinance has to be amended that would allow the town board to consider granting a special permit to allow the construction of a particular project. You referred this to the town planning board. They have conducted many meetings on the environmental issues. They adopted a negative declaration at their meeting under Secourse. They identified the impacts. They feel they'll be fully addressed by the law. And now it comes back to you. If you adopt the law this evening, you would also schedule a public hearing for September 25th on the actual proposed project, which is on Route 82 and Joe's Mother's Way. Then in that meeting would be a joint meeting with the town board and planning board to hear public comments on the project, because in order for the project to go forward, the town board after that meeting would have to grant the special permit, and then the planning board would have to grant site plan approval. So that in a nutshell, so this is an amendment to the zoning ordinance, which would allow the process to be allowed to consider this proposal as well as other
There's a,
proposals.
establishing workforce housing law.
Also, I should say, Mr. Danker's probably going to correct me, it sets the income level. No one who applies to rent here can have an income that is more than 120% of Dutchess County median income, which would put it, for a family of four, about a little less than $90,000.
Okay, for a family of four.
Now, and I have some concerns, as you know, with this. So the vote we're taking tonight, actually, the September vote would be the vote to,
What
if
the
the
rise-
project goes ahead or not.
Correct.
So tonight's vote is just to have
Just
the
to
joint,
put this into the zoning ordinance.
and
And the joint meeting.
then September would be the,
Right, because with the zoning ordinance, if you amend the zoning ordinance, what it's going to say is, if someone meets the criteria and comes in with a proposed project, they must first apply to the town board. The town board must hold a public hearing and determine that there's still a need for the housing, that this, whatever is proposed, is going to meet that need, that the criteria that you wish to have is satisfied. Then, at that point, if you grant a special permit, they go off to the planning board for site plan approval.
okay, so, just so I have this clear in my mind, September is the,
That's the
Go
real
ahead,
vote to
right.
authorize this particular project.
okay. I certainly recognize the need for workforce housing. I have some concerns, which I've expressed to a few people about this, but I'd like to go ahead to the public meeting, public hearing with the
the planning board.
planning board.
Tom, just for clarification, right now it's going to be 80 to 120%. Now, can that ever be changed?
By this board, after a public hearing, you can adjust that number to whatever you feel is appropriate at the time.
Okay, so it could be
That's-
changed in the future. I mean, we're not
Correct,
fixed. Okay, that's all I want.
Which is good to address any issues that may come up.
Right. Yep.
And like you said, any other future applicants have to go through the same procedure?
Correct.
Okay.
Ethel, any thoughts?
No, I just wanted to be sure that we could have the opportunity to bring it up or down.
Good. Okay. Sounds good. Do I have a motion to adopt the local law amending the zoning ordinance to provide for workforce housing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Right.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. All right, there's two things I have to bring up from the floor. And the first is a financial audit. We've put out RFPs. Every year we have a financial audit by a firm. We've had a firm with us for many, many years. This year we put out an RFP to, I believe, 5 firms, and we got responses. I don't know, Mark, how many RFPs did we put out, 5 or?
Well, we sent notices to, I think, 6 or 7. and
6 or
we
7,
publicly,
and 5
listed
responded.
it, and we got 5 responses.
5 responded. And the comptroller has received the proposals from certified public accountants and independent public accountants to audit financial statements of the town of East Fishkill. And Mark, you want to give us a little summary of what you found, or what the responses were?
Sure. All 5 of the respondents are firms of some stature, 60 or more employees with significant municipal auditing experience.
Mark, you want to pull your microphone a little closer to you? Thank you.
There wasn't too much to separate. Some firms were a little larger with a little more experience, some were closer, some were further, but in the subjective side of the bid, there wasn't too much to distinguish one from the other, so at the end, I went on a price basis and selected, for my recommendation, the lowest bidder.
Okay, and that's Sickler, Torchia, Allen, and Churchill.
Correct. And this would be a significant reduction in the amount we've been paying.
That we've been paying already, and their bid for,
I think on an apples-to-apples comparison, it's $16,950. We had been paying $20,000.
okay.
The next closest was $17,500 for the
Okay.
first year.
It's my recommendation that the board select STAC, as we call them, to perform audit town statements for the years 2000, this would be for a 3-year contract for 2011, 2012, 2013, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any questions for the comptroller on the RFPs or the firm he selected?
Well, I've reviewed some of the proposals with Mark, and looking over, not only were they the cheapest bid, but also their additional services, their hourly rate was the lowest too, so.
Oh,
Right.
okay,
Should
good.
we require any additional services, yeah, they had the lowest hourly rates, so.
Good. Okay. Do I have a motion to award the bid for financial audits to Sickler, Torsia, Allen, and Churchill for the years 2011, for the audits for the years 2011, 2012, and 2013?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. One other from the floor, I'd gotten a letter from a local builder that actually submitted a request to the an application to the building department to build, I believe, 2 buildings, commercial buildings. In the end, they only built 1 building. I have a letter here, and they're asking for a refund because commercial buildings are typically, the permits are issued and the fees are charged on a square footage basis, correct, Scott?
Yes.
So since we're only erecting 1 of 2 buildings covered by a recent permit, I requested a refund of the portion of the building permit fee. And Scott, you reviewed this, and I think we did do a set aside of some to cover the administration review.
Cost, exactly.
Okay. And so the amount totaling, the refund would be totaling $3,034.50. And that, we've already kept aside portion for the first building that was done, and the review and the paperwork, so. Do I have a motion to authorize refund this building permit fee?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nice question. Scott, if
Oh, I'm
this-
sorry, sure.
This guy, can he still come back in and add to this building? Does he still
He
have
can come back
approval
and
for
build
an
a
addition?
second
He'd have to
building.
fill out a new application
Yeah.
and start over for this other building.
Right.
Yeah.
He'd start from scratch.
But, no, but the project was approved for the extra building. Would he have to come in just for the application, or would he have to come through all the boards again?
Just for the building
Just for the
permit.
building permit.
Okay.
But he wouldn't get a credit for the administrative part. He'd pay.
No,
Pay
I
that all
understand
over
that.
again.
No, I understand that. Yep.
Okay. Are you okay, Peter?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, good. Okay, all opposed?
We already voted.
I know, well, I want to make sure, you just voted last. Motion carried, thank you very much. Tonight, we do have some budget transfers. Mark has submitted, our controller, Mark Posniak, has submitted a summary, and I believe we have a copy of the budget transfers. And I just didn't know if anybody on the board has any questions on the budget transfers. I mean, one thing I would like to point out, we are a little higher on the community center expansion than we had thought to be, but Scott, I believe we actually did finish the soundproofing panels in the ceiling and the walls,
Yeah.
so that should be a big help.
That
Now-
made, that made a big difference.
You did it, Bill? I haven't been over there yet. Good.
We had along the way, I think we added a few bells and whistles, but I think
Yeah.
everybody's very happy with
Yeah.
the product, so.
I've been, you know, what I've been in, it's been really looks good. Now, I know that someone had proposed closing partition, separating partition to
We
cut.
are working on quotes. for
Yeah,
that.
and I didn't, well, we talked about that, and I guess the rec board is interested in pursuing this, everybody's in favor of this?
The initial
Believe so.
quote that we have, I think, is about 17,000, so we are working on getting a few more quotes. Just to
Okay.
give you an order of magnitude of what that would be.
Okay.
But I think it would afford them a separate room for small meetings while they still did other activities.
Well, it makes a lot of sense, because now that is a very big room, and you could break that in half and have 2 different activities happening at the same time.
It would go between the 2 doors that enter the big
The
room.
kitchen,
now.
exactly. There's already like a notch out for it, so.
Okay.
So when we get those quotes together, we'll submit them
Okay.
and see what the decision.
All right. I have 16,500 for the partition is in the budget transfer. And that would be coming from rec development funds, I believe, because that'd be a capital project?
That's what's being proposed in the
Okay,
budget transfer.
all righty. And we're a little bit over budget in Channel 22, so if the cameraman's watching, film a little faster, please. Or maybe not so many commercials, maybe that's what it is. But then the rest of these, as you pointed out, Mark, they're pretty fair, just routine budget transfers, capital equipment, buildings, contractual, clerical, stuff like that, so. Any questions for the controller on the budget transfers for this evening? There being none, do I have a motion to approve the budget transfers as submitted?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Now, you've only got $16,500 to do this partition, so I'll see what we can do
Make it
with that.
last.
All right, is there anybody in the audience that'd like to make any public comment on general town issues? Okay, there being none, anybody on the board? Any announcements, anything? No?
Just, Community Day's coming up September 15th.
Good announcement?
I don't know, what's the number over there? We're not giving out your phone number anymore, we're giving out the other phone number now.
Oh, I know, that's
Anybody
true.
know the other phone number?
You can go on the website.
You can go on the website. It's
Huh?
Recreation's number, but you can go on the website. It's on there. The phone number.
Actually,
Yeah,
either
Recreation's
you go on the
handling-
website or dial 221-9191, it'll
No,
put you into a
don't
massive
call.
service,
No,
and they'll
don't
transfer you.
Please don't call the clerk's office for Community Day. But you can contact my office. We will be happy to direct you to the proper number. Recreation is handling Community Day fully this year, and we're proud of the efforts they're putting into it. And a lot of information and a lot of the documents can be downloaded from the website. So that's always a handy thing.
And the Noise Committee has finished their work, and the final draft of the noise ordinance is now in the hands of Tom, and he'll be getting it out to the committee and the board in a couple of weeks.
Quietly working.
Quietly, please.
And then, oh, I understand. And then, if the supervisor agrees, we could have a public hearing scheduled in September for October. Is that the schedule?
Oh, do we have to schedule it? No, we'd have to schedule it September for October, possible,
October.
yeah.
Maybe
And we could
December.
discuss it at the October workshop.
That sounds good, yep. Because we won't be having a workshop in September. The next meeting will be the combined voting meeting, so. Yep, that sounds like a time schedule. So we will be getting the new law. Okay.
A lot of work has gone into it. We have started meeting in March, and we had our last meeting last week. And we have a committee of 5 people. Peter attended some meetings, Tom was there, and Chief Nichols was at all meetings. So I think we've crafted a pretty reasonable ordinance.
Good, good. And I know, and it was fortunate because any emails or letters that I got on noise, I was able to forward to the Noise Committee for their,
To me.
well, to the bill, because I know where Bill's mailbox is, so basically I would just hit print, I put in Bill's mailbox. And, but all those things were taken into consideration.
Yeah,
You know, which is really a good thing.
and most of the feedback I've gotten from the several that you handed me were positive.
Good. Good thing. All right, very good. Our next town board meeting will be held on September 27th, 2012. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to also thank the firemen again for a wonderful parade, and all the festivities were wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, that's right, I forgot about, that was quite a parade celebrating 100 years of Hopeful Hose.
100 years,
And we had a lot of participation for a lot of the surrounding fire companies. Really was nice, and it didn't rain, which really, I carried my umbrella. I was ready, and you know what? It didn't rain. It was a very nice night. So I appreciate that, and I can't say enough about what our fire people do. They're a very impressive bunch, and anything we can do to support them, we're here for them, so. All right, with that, do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. That's one that always passes.
Nice round of applause for your East Fishkill Fire District. Fishkill Fire District has 4 fire companies, Hopewell Hose, #1, Glenville Fire Company, #2, Hillside Lake Fire Company, #3, and Whitby Fire Company, #4.